agenda?
I don't have a I don't have a sheet here for you. So.
You're kidding me, right?
I don't. I don't.
And I also had asked.
Is that right?
Well, anybody that'd like to speak, why don't we just go ahead and come on up?
Jonathan, this is not your meeting. Why don't you let Jonathan, our board chair runs.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut right in and do it. Mine's short.
Yeah.
Thing. About 4 weeks ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And my health insurance is the only thing standing between me and catastrophe. I can beat this, but I need your support. And I would like to relinquish my time to John.
Thank you. John, I'm going to give you the last word, but I would hope that you can make it succinct. I'm sorry, I did not have a sheet assigned for you. Not yet.
So okay. Let me briefly, before you start my time. Every month, I have requested to be on the agenda. And every month, I have been denied. The majority of the people standing behind me today are here to speak about union issues. There you go. This is unacceptable. Mr. Levine talked about equity. And it is unfortunate that we are not allowing that forum to take place. I urge you, all of you, to create even more time for this meeting because it is disrespectful for those who need to come in after us. But it is absolutely impossible to sit here and not allow us to speak, to get these issues moved forward. And it's unfortunate that to this day, we do not have a labor relations director nor anybody within the TriMet staff that recognizes the importance to get this contract settled and settled now. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to address you today. This may shock you, but my comments will be shorter today than they have been in the past. I'm briefly going to revisit 4 issues that have been addressed to you in the past. Number 1, what are you doing to keep the TriMet fleet clean? At your February board meeting, we addressed the board over management cost-cutting measures that jeopardize the safety and the health of TriMet employees and the public they transport. TriMet's fleet is filthy because TriMet's eliminated workers that were dedicated to keep the buses and MAX trains clean. In the past, TriMet buses and trains were thoroughly cleaned, from top to bottom once a month. Now when the buses are refueled, a worker blows everything from the rear to the front and out the door, and the bus is deemed ready to hit the road. TriMet's cutting out cleaning the vehicles on a regular basis as a cost-cutting measure. Not regularly cleaning the fleet is a health hazard for both employees and the riding public. A lot of attention has been focused on TriMet for the presence of airborne diseases such as H1N1 viruses on the fleet. Surely, TriMet can find areas to cut costs, not those that are so critical to keeping the workers and the public safety and healthy. The union and the riding public would like to know what TriMet intends to do. Is TriMet planning to resume regular and thorough cleanings of the TriMet fleet? If the answer is yes, when will they resume? If it's not, why? Because of the health risk of dirty buses and trains posed to our members and the riding public, I think we have a right to know. What has or is TriMet doing about the Type 4 train problems? As Vice President Sam Schwartz talked about earlier, for the past 2 months at both the January and the February meeting, the union described what we believe is TriMet's failure to recognize the Type 4 light rail train blind spot problem. We provided TriMet management and the TriMet board with substantial information and evidence on this problem. These are very serious matters. We would like to know what TriMet management has done to address these concerns since the union raised the issue in January, and what steps it has taken to further investigate this serious problem. If nothing has been done in response to the union's complaint, can somebody tell me why? I'll move on. saving taxpayers money by reducing arbitration costs. With the union's commitment to help TriMet reduce unnecessary costs, the union announced last month that it would agree to utilize agreed-upon mediation arbitration, or the collective bargaining agreement's expedited arbitration process, to reduce the current identified 91 grievances that have been identified for arbitration, excluding terminations. TriMet and the union have exchanged letters back and forth, disagreeing exactly how many there are. Who cares about that? At the end of the day, we can decide what those are. Then I get a letter from Mr. McFarland claiming that TriMet could save over $2 million by not using traditional arbitrations to resolve the pending issues. Mr. McFarland contends the costs are far less because they use in-house counsel to handle the cases. Without questioning Mr. McFarland's honesty, I suggest that the board ask the staff to pull the legal invoices for the past 3 years and see if Mr. McFarland's claim is correct. But even if that is true, let's move on. The union proposes that TriMet and the union mutually agree to submit all of the arbitration's pending grievances, with the exception of terminations, through the mediation arbitration process or the contractual expedited arbitration. The process prohibits the use of attorneys by either side. Costing or saving the taxpayers would be huge. And we stand by our previous numbers of the $2 million. Why would TriMet not want to do this? And finally, the protracted contract dispute. We have hashed this issue for months now. TriMet has talked, we have talked, we've heard both sides. But now I have a question that I think deserves an honest answer. As you all know, there's an unfair labor practice hearing before the Oregon Employment Relations Board. It's scheduled for May 16th and 18th. At less than 2 months from now, one of the charges on the board will consider is if TriMet unlawfully changed the collective bargaining agreement during the pendency of the negotiations and arbitrations by charging employees insurance coverage and changing their insurance plan. In an article on TriMet's website shortly after the implementation, this change, Mr. McFarland claimed that the change saved TriMet $10 million. So, what if TriMet loses? In other words, what if the state of Oregon finds that TriMet violated the law and ordered TriMet to return to status quo and undo what happened January 1st? If Mr. McFarland's claim is accurate, and TriMet saved $10 million by changing the insurance plan, changing employees for coverage, by the time the damages have resulted of plan changes and out-of-pocket cost tally to the cost of taxpayers for this management mistake could be staggering, $12 to $15 million. TriMet's been claiming all along that they're broke. And anyone at TriMet has given this some serious thought. What are we going to tell the taxpayers? I bet we're probably going to say to the taxpayers, well, we don't agree with the state decision, but it's out of our hands. Or maybe we could be honest with the taxpayers and the region and simply say, we have made bad management decisions, and now you, the taxpayers, are going to have to pay for it. What I ask that all of you do is take the opportunity to recognize we have been willing all along to settle this contract. We have been coming to this meeting and expressing ourselves. Some of you may think too long, and some of you may think too aggressively. And we continue to this day, with the exception of Mr. Larenbach, I've heard from not a single person from this board, although I've sent you copious amounts of documents. Mr. McFarland, we've reached out to you, but we have not connected on the dots. You continue to bargain with my membership. You continue to tell them your side of the story, but you're unwilling to sit down with me and say, how can we resolve this issue? Even though with all of the different contracts out there, all of the issues that are in front of us, you would think that you would take this issue, extremely important, that there would be either yourself or a designee as a labor relations director to try to solve this problem. Why am I here every month? And I will be here every month. And I encourage all of you either to put me on the agenda and or create more time in this, because I value your time as well. And we need to get this settled. But what we continue to hear is I continue to talk, you continue to wait patiently like you're listening, but we have not had any changes. So we're going to go to court, and then we're going to see who's right or wrong. But does that solve the issue? Labor relations is not a win or lose. It's both parties collectively recognizing how we can come together. Nobody is listening to where we're at. As Mr. Levine talked about, we are not being represented. You are not taking the opportunity to listen to what's going on. So I encourage you, I invited you guys to the last mediation. Nobody appeared in front of me. So again, I would ask you to take the opportunity to meet with us.
Thank you very much, John, for your testimony. I would say that on behalf of the board, we hope this will be resolved either by negotiation or through arbitration as quickly as possible.
But this is not the only forum.
Yeah. Well,
This is not the only forum.
Right. And it shouldn't be the forum where this is negotiated,
So I encourage the board to push Mr. McFarland in the right direction and settle the contract.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.